Hey there, folks. Joey DeAngelis here with the 91st episode of Silent Film Saturday. I did not think I was going to return to the series for longest time because I've been really busy, but this is the first episode I have made in 9 months, and you still don't see me on camera, and that's because I'm right now wearing an ambulatory EEG, which will go till 9 a.m. Monday. I'm doing okay. It's just they needed to run some tests, so I'm wearing this, and I did not feel like appearing on camera with all these wires and this equipment. So, I'm going to talk about Speedy. I know I was going to talk about the Chaplin review, but I decided to talk about Speedy this week, so Speedy it is. This is Harold Lloyd's last silent film, made in 1928, so kind of towards the tail end of the silent film era. And this, I'm reviewing the Criterion edition of the film, which is absolutely spectacular, by the way. It has a really nice assortment of bonus features, so I'm going to kind of talk about those briefly. There's a nice commentary track from the director of programming at the Film Forum in New York, and Turner Classic Movies director of program production, as well as some nice documentaries about the film, selection of archival footage with baseball legend Babe Ruth, and a couple Harold Lloyd shorts. So this is a really another nifty addition from Criterion on the great silent film legend Harold Lloyd. And I've been liking these Harold Lloyd packages just as much as the Chaplin ones. They've been picking some really stellar films by Harold Lloyd to be in the Criterion collection, and I can't wait to see what comes out from Criterion in terms of Harold Lloyd next. So, basic little premise, excuse me, got the hiccups here. Basically, the premise, he reprises his glasses character, and he's a New Yorker who really just can't keep a job. He works, ice cream shop, soda fountain type of place. Can't keep a job there. Works as a taxi cab driver, can't keep that job. And he is sort of living with his girlfriend and her grandfather, who runs the last horse-drawn carriage or horse-drawn streetcar in New York. So that's basically kind of the setup, and then businesses are trying to buy up the girlfriend's grandfather's horse car business, so that way they can build a railroad. Now, there's a lot more things that happen in this movie than just that, and I feel like sometimes it gets distracted from that, but it still turns out for some really, really inventive gags. One lengthy sequence deals with Harold Lloyd and his girlfriend going to Coney Island, and they go to Coney Island for a lengthy period of the movie, as well as Harold Lloyd driving a taxi cab with Babe Ruth, of all people. Yeah, Babe Ruth makes a cameo in this movie. One of my favorite elements of the score of this movie is the score made by Carl Davis. This is actually from the 90s, and he restored it for this edition. And I really it has a very New York feel. It has a nice baseball tunes in there, and it really just works out for Harold Lloyd. I got to say, Harold Lloyd has some of the most consistent film scores I've heard of for any silent person. Because sometimes I'll hear scores for different people, and they'll vary from good, excellent to meh. And Harold Lloyd, because of the way the films are preserved, I guess, and the way they restore them, and the people that get to do the scores, they're pretty much always consistently great. So that's up there with Speedy. And just again, Harold Lloyd's glasses character is always really funny. I always find this one to be kind of not as quote traditionally likable as his other characters, but he's still likable, Harold Lloyd. And certain things that happen are just not his fault. Like, he gets a crab in his pants, and the crab pinches balloons off of this balloon salesman, and then the balloon salesman loses his balloons because of this crab. And Harold Lloyd gets paint on his back, It's just great little sequences. One of my favorites. He's standing behind a fresh paint like fence, and his back is turned towards there, and he doesn't notice that, but he's worried about these dots that are on his like in his jacket, and he's trying to wipe them off, but he then realizes it's really just from this woman's polka dot umbrella, and the sun is shining through, which I found really quite hysterical. And then, of course, towards the end of the film, there's a big, rousing, action sequence where you have a New York gang trying to, take down this horse-drawn streetcar. And I guess that's pretty much it. It's a really nice little simple movie where we get, taken to the side for a couple of scenes like the Coney Island sequences for some nice, lovely gags. And it's just really overall just charming. And another sequence I really liked was, and Harold Lloyd and his girlfriend are trying to get back to the city. They have to go get Harold Lloyd's buddy to take them back, and he's basically like in this like shipping truck, and they go in this truck and they kind of set up like almost a little home for themselves because there's furniture, then nice little home sweet home, and I like little sentimental moments like that. Also, Harold Lloyd is just great with like certain just like really just goofy little gags. Like you see a crib with two babies, and the babies both have like the glasses that Harold Lloyd would wear. That was pretty cute. So if you're a baseball fan, there's definitely some nice Babe Ruth content in the bonus features. And if you're just a general silent film fan, Speedy is definitely a film you have to pick up. I'm not sure what I'm going to review next week, but I'll post it on my Facebook, Twitter, all my social media. You know where I'm at. I'll see you guys later.